예, 제 옆에 흔하지 않은 인형국의 라나지 베이커 감독님 나와 계신데요. 감독님 모시고 이렇게 좀 대화를 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. 먼저 감독님 인사 말씀부터 들어보겠습니다.
Very glad to be here, and if you have any questions, I'm ready to answer.
먼저 이렇게 감독님께 제가 좀 질문을 몇 개 드리고 나서 관객분들 질문을 받아보도록 하겠습니다. 영화에 관한 질문을 하기 앞서가지고요. 라나지 베이 감독이 이번에 한국에 오신 게 처음이에요. 그래서 좀 한국에 오신 소감을 먼저 여쭤볼게요.
I think it is wonderful. In terms of weather, I would say it is almost similar, maybe a degree temperature difference. And also it is raining in the city where I stay in Kolkata, which is in eastern part of India. And I don't feel any difference, except I'm not used to AC environment in a continuous long period of time, which is actually happening with, that's the only uncomfortable situation. Otherwise outside for me is perfectly alright.
끝나지 않는 이제 인형국 같은 경우는 이제 마다부, 인도에 있는 마다부와 그 인형국을 운영하는 이제 마다부에 대한 이야기를 다루고 있는데요. 감독님께 어떻게 좀 마다부를 알게 돼서 이렇게 영화로 찍게 됐는지에 대해서 설명 좀 부탁드리겠습니다.
Yeah, that's actually this is actually when I did some research on this particular art form for an organization, and I was quite surprised to see that this particular kind of dolls and the art performing troops are only available in the state where I live. Even in whole of India, there is no such dolls performers of this size. Because the uniqueness of these dolls is that it is almost life size. And you need a human one single performer operates a single doll. But only advantage of these dolls being performed in a rural base, because it is competing with real life actors. Because real life actors are expensive to bring to the audience, but they are cheap. But the size of the audience is almost similar. So this was that way very popular 30-40 years ago. But over the years, in terms of technological developments, in terms of television and other things, when it came into the rural sector, people gradually lost interest in it. And as a result, they had to have usually in the beginning almost 250 to 300 days in a year of shows, which has now come down to only 65 days, which is not sustainable for any performing group. So the point is that, which is in the film, he has mentioned that it is very difficult to unlearn something when you are aging. At a particular point of time of your age, you have performed for so many years, and suddenly you have been asked that this is not applicable anymore, it is redundant. So you have to learn something new, which is very difficult for an aging artist. And because he has lived this art form for so many years, and he has fallen in love with his work, and it is very difficult to forget it for him. So he continues in spite of knowing that this is not going to survive and he will not be able to continue. He cannot just leave it. That's the point. And it is actually why I did it, because it is a question of any profession. With this modern technology coming up, even in the recent time, the AI is making many jobs redundant, like translator, people like that. They don't have any job now because they are scared, because AI is doing all this. So now what happens to those people? Suppose they have crossed their prime and it is difficult to learn a new language altogether. So this is a very common phenomena all over the world. And at the point of time, you have seen in the film that when he's performing, there is no audience outside, which means that if that what you call the knowledge you have, and you are going to use it now, there is no buyer for it. You know, the AI has taken over those buyers from you. So what do you do with that? That this is the crisis. I wanted to show in the film that this crisis is not particularly common to him, it is common to everybody when technology moves very fast, and human knowledge is not doesn't move so fast, no, because it takes time to acquire knowledge, it takes time to become an expert on it, and it takes time to apply it, and then suddenly you find that it's not applicable. So that's the crisis, no, of everybody. So it is actually in a short form and been presented.
또 이게 그 영화의 이제 초반장을 보게 되면 이제 마다보가 감독님에게 자신에 대해서 이제 찍으려면 그 우리의 선배들이 지나왔던 것도 다 알아야 된다는데 그거를 인정하지 않으면 영화를 찍어서는 안 된다라는 이야기를 해서 마다보가 좀 쉽지는 않은 인물이라는 생각이 드는데 어떻게 마다보를 설득을 해가지고 그가 카메라 앞에 서게 만들었는지 그 과정도 좀 궁금합니다.
It's a crazy man, I must say. Yeah, when I first went to him, what I did actually, these shots were taken secretly. In a sense that I kept, whenever I started interacting with him, I used to go and keep my camera on my lap, but I never ran it in the beginning. But after some time when it became easy with me and started telling his own stories, personal stories and all that, so I used to keep the camera on my lap and switched it on without his knowing that camera is running. So he was getting, telling many stories. I said that you see that you people come and shoot and you only want to shoot the performance and you put in your own ideas on the thing and present it, which actually does not represent us. So I will not allow to do it like that. But if you listen to me, then only you can shoot. Obviously, I agreed to him, and eventually we became friends, and I became friends to his wife in a family member, almost like a family member. And also I came to know his troop members, who are also very easy to me. And at the end, what has happened? My camera was a non-existent phenomena for them. You must have realized that nobody looked at the camera, whatever they were doing. And another very strange thing you must have noticed in the film, that he never directly looked at the camera and said anything. Because whenever I asked him that why didn't you look at the camera and talk to me, he said, that's not my problem. That is your problem, how to make me look at your camera. So he used to turn his face always around and look at something else and reply me. So that was a very hard thing, but I managed somehow to come across it. So that's the story actually, how I came to start shooting with it.
이제 그 제가 감독의 만약에 입장이셨다면 이 마다보가 인물을 좀 더 그 카메라에 담기 힘든 이유가 마다보가 술을 굉장히 많이 마시더라고요. 그래서 그 술을 마시는 것 때문에 감독님 입장에서는 또 카메라에 마다보를 담는 게 쉽지는 않았을 것 같은데요. 그런 상황에서는 어떻게 카메라에 지금 마다보를 담으려고 또 좀 노력을 하셨는지에 대해서도 설명 부탁드립니다.
Yeah, drinking is a major problem for which his wife also left him at the end. But of course she came back much later when I finished my shooting. The point is that Madhav has a principle. When he is working, he doesn't drink. So during the shows, before the shows, he doesn't drink. But the moment shows is over, he is with the bottle. And also when he is not working, he is drinking. So that's the problem with his wife, because when he is working, his wife accepts it is a part of the job because it's a very stressful job, as you have seen. It's a very manually stressful. He has to carry the load, he has to do the thing, he has to act, many things he has to do. But when he's not having shows, which actually is most of the days he doesn't have any shows. So he drives a cycle van, and that's his only earning, And that cycle van also he carries the construction materials, which is not a regular assignment. That also comes twice or thrice in a month or something like that. Otherwise, he carry passengers from one point to another point, for which it's a very nominal fee. So, and all his buddies, basically his troop members, they always look forward when Madhav is going to buy the drinks, because they will come and join him and they will have a party. So that's the problem. So I didn't have any problem during the shooting. And after the shoot, because I don't care, because that's his personal life, Because his personal life, I cannot say he don't drink. So after the shoot, I listened to his wife quite a number of times, and I kept a little bit of it because she said that I get very upset when he drinks. So that's the story. So I didn't have any problem during the shoot with Madhav's drinking, because I had shot many sequences of his drinking with his buddies and telling all sorts of nonsense. But I thought it's irrelevant to put it in the picture, because it doesn't go with the theme of the picture, because it shows a different man in him, His fighting spirit is missing in that. So that's it.
그 영화를 보게 되면 이제 마다브가 돈을 벌면은 그 25%만 생활비로 내놓고 75%는 이제 술을 마신다고 하는 장면이 있는데, 처음부터 그랬던 것도 아니라고 감독님이 이제 얘기를 해주시더라고요. 이렇게 연극이 잘 될 때는 다 생활비를 내놔가지고 가족을 좋아했는데 갈수록 비율이 줄어들었다고 하는 그런 일이라고 말씀드리고요. 사실 이 영화는 이제 감독님께서 영화 시작하기 전에 인상 말씀하실 때 이제 5년이 걸렸다고 말씀을 주셨는데, 중간에 또 코로나가 있어가지고 또 이렇게 연기가 돼서 그 정도의 시간이 걸렸다고 하는데, 처음에 시작할 때는 좀 어느 정도의 제작 기간을 두고 임하셨던 건지 그것도 궁금하네요.
Actually, when I started the project with him, I didn't know that whether I will be able to finish the project with him, because he was so unpredictable. He was very unpredictable, because one day he will say, I will do this, but when I reach there, I find that he's not in a mood to do that. So it went on for some time, but gradually I told him that if you go on like this with me, it will be very difficult for me to come again and again and again, because it costs money. And also, I did not have any fund coming to me for this project. Actually, I finished the film with my own money. Though I have pitched at 2-3 different forums, the point is that most of the forums accepts films with critical issues, issues which are social issues or some what we call the environmental issues or other issues. But this film has no issue as such. So it was very difficult to get the money. But after some time, he was skeptical about me also. He thought that, oh, so this man has come to shoot me and he's going to sell this product somewhere and gain some money out of it. And I won't get anything out of it. So I made a deal with him. I said that you will not lose to work with me, because I asked him that how much you earn when you are doing the best work in a day. Suppose you have a transportation of material and all that. So how much you earn? He mentioned an amount. I said, I will give you the double the amount, because you are not going to work on that day. So I will give you that double amount, but you will perform, do whatever you do. You don't have to do anything extra. Only thing is that you do whatever you want to do, but don't do other things. So because the whole day I will be with you, I will shoot and I will compensate. So he thought over it and he thought it is profitable for him, so he agreed. So that was the deal with him. But again, that was not very sure shot, no, because he will invite me. He said that I'm not in a mood today to shoot, so I had to go back again. So anyway, but eventually, probably somewhere he felt that this man is honest. I'm not lying to him, and I'm not going to exploit him, because I personally feel as an artist that if an artist understands that you are going to exploit him, the artist will not cooperate with you. And he understands actually. Any artist will understand, or any person will understand whether you are exploiting him or you are genuinely interested about him. So when he became sure that I'm not his enemy but his friend, then he agreed to me and started working with jointly.
네, 우리 감독님하고 얘기하다 보니까 벌써 이렇게 30분이 지났는데요. 그래서 관객분들께서도 혹시 궁금한 게 있으면 질문이 있으시면 좀 받아보고 이야기를 좀 이어갈까 하는데요. 있으시면 손 들어주시면 되고요. 바로 없으시면 제가 이렇게 몇 개 질문을 더 이어가도 됩니다. 네, 없으시면 네, 가운데 계시군요. 그럼 질문 한번 받아보도록 하겠습니다.
좀 오래된 이거를 흔해지는 이런 내용이 사람들이
He wants to know what are the stories that played on the puppet shows.
Yes.
Okay. These puppets have limitations because you have seen the bare bodies of the puppets, no? When he is constructing, when he is making the dressing of the puppets, have you seen that, no? So lower part of the puppets are not shown, only the upper part is shown. And even on the upper part, you cannot show the bare bodies. So you cannot have a character who has no dress on him. You cannot show that. So usually, to make it more attractive for the audience who are watching from the distance, they may try to make the dresses as colorful as possible. As a result of which, they have to pick up the stories from the collection, which are historical, mythological, or such kind of stuff where the grandeur of the dresses are more important. And also they are, at that point of time when they were popular, they were competing with the regular folk theatres, where the regular real artists were performing. No? So to compete with the regular folk theatre, they had to also improvise in such a way so that people get attracted to their theatre. And also they have to dress up the dolls in such a way that they should look much more better than those regular actors. No? So that was the reason for selection of the stories. They are doing social and what you call the political stories, they don't do much. But social stories nowadays they do. But again, they have to be all clothes. No? And usually when you have a common man being portrayed on stage, he doesn't look very attractive. He has a shabby dress, he has no beautiful headgears, so he doesn't become very attractive for the audience. So audience feel little bored, no? Oh, this man is more poorer than I am, so why should I watch him? I should rather watch a rich person, no, a king or a emperor or queen, something like that. So that will be attractive. So that's basically the reason for selection of the historical, mythological or some old place.
혹시 또 질문 있으신가요?
하나 더 궁금한 게 있는데요. 저는 이 아이디에 대해서 이 인도에 인형계 관련된 다큐를 본 적이 있었는데 그 아까 말씀하신 것처럼 더 작은 사이즈네. 근데 그때도 되게 흥미로웠고 지금도 되게 흥미로웠는데 아까 말씀하신 것처럼 이게 더 유니크한 사이즈의 큰 인형들이라고 하면 되게 이런 고정 가치가 있을 것 같은데 정부에서 지원이 있는 건지 그리고 정부에 뭐 지원이 있다면 여기 좀 시골이라서 이 사람들에게까지 지원이 가지 못하는 건지 뭐 이런 걸 좀 궁금했습니다.
You see that the government has a policy to support this rural art form, but the budget is so low that first of all, I just want to begin from the first of all, there are only hardly 10 to 15 troops operating with these dolls. The technique or the development of the doll formation has not changed over the last 250 years. From the very beginning, the dolls are same. So they have not improved upon the designing of the doll. They are quite heavy because with all the gears and everything, the dolls weighs around say 40 to 50 kind of shows, small amount. Maybe in a year they will get 10 shows from it. One group will get 10 shows, which is nothing, absolutely nothing. So government has no interest. I don't know, probably in your country government will be very much interested to preserve it, this art, any art form which is going to die or which is not being practiced anymore. But in our country, not interested. They are more interested in television, soap operas or IPL cricket, which generates huge amount of money. They are interested in that. I just want to add something that when I started doing the research, I found out that there is no documents, no visuals, nothing available of this art form existing. So I visited various troops and I started asking them that do you have any still photographs at least of your thing? So they could bring out some old faded photographs, no? And he couldn't make out what is this all about. And all the stories is all on the verbal, no? Because somebody has heard from his father or someone has heard from a friend, something like that. So this probably is also in another way is a record of this art form that exists in our country. And actually I did one documentation film on this before. So this film, I did not want to do that. I wanted to do a personal struggle to survive this fading art form, how an artist can survive in a situation like that.
2년 전에 그 대만 다큐멘터리 인형극 관련한 작품을 본 적이 있는데 그 라이프 오브 파이 이안 감독의 아버지가 이렇게 인형극을 하셨었어요. 그래서 우리가 생각할 때는 굉장히 인기가 많지 않을까 했는데 거기도 인형극에 대한 관심이 없어서 지원이 없다고 하는 내용들을 다루고 있는데 아마 그런 전통 인형극들이 어디서나 그렇게 크게 이렇게 지원을 못 받고 있는 현실이 아닌가 하는 생각이 들고요. 감독님께 이제 하나 질문을 좀 드리고 나서 혹시 관객분들 있으면 또 받아보겠는데요. 이게 이 영화는 이제 국내에는 끝나지 않는 인형극인데 영화 원제로는 돌스 돈 다이라고 했는데 이렇게 그 D자로 이루어진 두 분으로 이루어진 제목도 재밌는데 처음부터 이 제목을 염두에 두신 건지 아니면 촬영을 하시면서 이 제목을 좀 생각을 하신 건지 궁금합니다.
Yeah, I couldn't understand the Korean title, but Dolls Don't Die is basically a representation of dreams don't die, because people live with the dream, you know. If the dream of a person dies, then his existence becomes meaningless. So this man has lived his life loving his dolls and making a profession out of it, and he is very passionate about it. And now he is seeing that his dolls are not being able to perform and his dreams are fading gradually. So I thought dreams don't die will be difficult. So dolls don't die is very close to this what they call the puppets he is working with. And it has also as a rhythm, no? So it is easy to remember. So that's why I chose to say that. But basically the idea is that our dreams are very precious to us, and if it is gone, then our living has no meaning. He mentioned in one space that many of his friends are very successful and they asked what you have achieved in your life. He said, my achievement is what I am eating now, that's my achievement. Because I have learned to live in the present. And if my soul dies, then there is no point in living.
네, 이렇게 얘기하다 보니까 이제 거의 1시간이 이제 돼가고 있는데요. 혹시 관객분들 질문 있으시면 하나 더 받아보고요. 네, 여기 계시군요. 질문 들어보도록 하겠습니다.
저는 감독 개인에게 질문이 좀 있는데, 이 영화의 주제 자체가 어쨌든 시대의 흐름과 기술의 발전으로 인해서 바뀌고 소멸되는 문화와 예술에 대한 이야기라고 해주셨는데, 영화라는 예술 자체도 사실 기술의 발전으로 발생한 예술이고 기술의 변화와 굉장히 밀접한 예술이라고 생각을 해요. 그리고 지금 몇 년 넘게 이어져 온 관람 방식이 최근 한 10년 정도 동안 되게 큰 변화의 빅웨이브를 맞이하고 있다고 생각을 하는데, 이런 변화의 흐름 속에서 이 변화의 흐름을 감독님은 어떻게 생각하시고, 그리고 영화 감독으로서 이 변화의 흐름을 어떻게 대응하실 건지.
Yeah, cinema is a very difficult question because there are two types of concept. One is the concept which is popular and which makes money, and there is a concept which dives deep into the heart and try to explore the inner feeling of a human being, and which if you reflect upon, then probably it improves you as a human being, where the popular cinema and the other things actually does not improve you as a human being. It actually generates money and it is market driven. It depends on the upbringing of a person and the background he is grown, which kind of cinema he will watch. Actually what he reads, what he likes to listen to, and what he likes to look at. Because when I'm traveling here in Seoul or this Goyan place, I found a very strange phenomena. The phenomena is about huge concrete structures, box-like structures, which no beauty at all, and there is no trees, hardly any trees, hardly any birds. There is nothing. So when you look at this concrete structure continuously, what do you get out of it? But when you go into a forest, you look at the trees, you listen to the birds, and your mind changes. So it depends on what you look at and why you look at it. I think both kinds of cinema will exist because there will be both kinds of people. People who are fond of popular culture and people who are really like to discover himself through his word or through his process of thinking. I think both will exist. So it will not die like books will never die. Books will be there. However, I have found out in Korea within 4 days of time that people are only looking at the mobiles while crossing the street. They don't look at anything. They are not scared that the car will run over them, but they are on the mobile all the time. I want to add one more thing, is that I am not against development. Development is inevitable. You cannot stop it. It will happen. But development should be human. it should be aimed to improve the human life, no? It's not only the physical aspects of it, but also the mental state, no? Because more and more, if you become a kind of a machine, then it is a problem for humanity. Because at the end, you are going to suffer.
예, 저희가 정해진 시간이 다 돼가지고요. 라나지레이 감독님 마지막 인사 말씀 듣고 마무리하도록 하겠습니다.
What can I say? I think that audience is the audience will say about it, whether they like the film or not. And if they liked it, I will be very happy that my journey to Korea will be a happy journey. I expected a little more crowd, but anyway, today is a working day, so maybe on the television they will see it. More people can see it. They had a show yesterday, I think, themselves. So anyway, thank you very much for coming and also to be present over here. And thank you for your patience.
감독님께 마지막으로 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.